All right, so to develop a media plan for your project, I think the most important thing is to decide what is the overall objective of what you're trying to achieve. And that will be your guideline for putting together your tactics. So, part of that objective, you want to determine what your audience, who your audiences are. So before you start thinking of reporters and thinking of what beats and what outlets, and even if you have a client who's saying, I want to be in the New York Times and I want to be in the Wall Street Journal, or I want to be on Huffington Post, it's very important to take a minute, ask yourself, what are we trying to achieve? And which are the audiences that we want to hear the message? And from there, you can start building out your plan.
And how do you, when you say you've figured out all of that, you got to write a press release for something. How do you write a press release? What are the key things to put in a press release?
Well, talking about press releases, there's lots of discussion among PR professionals about whether press releases are dinosaurs of the past, and should you just be condensing your message in different ways on different platforms. I think if you have a client that you're writing specifically for, you have to think of what the industry standard is, or perhaps what the best practices are. So if you have a tech company, or you're working for Apple, or you're working for one of the banks, they will most likely want a traditional press release. If you're working for a fashion company, for example, that's very forward thinking and fashion forward, then they may want a different kind of vehicle for your message. I think, content is key. So no matter you're doing a traditional press release or you're doing some fancy video press release and you're pushing it out via Twitter, the most important thing to remember is content is king. So you need to, once again, take a few minutes, ask yourself, what's interesting about this? Why is this important to the reader? Is this part of a trend? Is this going to establish a trend? And of course, good writing, snappy writing, concise writing is always important.